I'd like to change the direction to the lessons learned and about how we do business. I have to tell you, Wes, this really got me thinking. I mean, I don't think I'm a crook or anything like that, but I will tell you, when this all thing came out with the public, it got me thinking. I was like, okay, do I have a pretty clean house in all of what we do and how we handle things?
Right.
Because sometimes we are placed in very difficult situations, like tenants. Sometimes they can be tough. They don't get it, what's right and what's wrong, and sometimes we have to walk away. Other times we have to take them to court, and it's always a bit of a balancing act. Same thing with our contractors, I mean, we want to trust.
Yeah.
We want to work. We want to pay. But then, people sometimes take advantage of us, and it's always this thing that we go through, this inner conflict.
Right.
What do you think about all this?
Because I think we do probably like most businesses do. I mean, you do the best you can to do right by whether it's your customers or your clients or or your business associates or whatever. And nobody's perfect. And a lot of times when it gets down to it, whether it's in court with a tenant, sometimes you just have to agree to disagree. But hopefully, we just try to conduct to where that's worst case scenario, is that we agree to disagree with whether it's a tenant or contractor or whatever, and everybody can just go their own separate way and say, well, look, hey, this relationship's not going to work. Yeah, but they go conducting still business, whoever else they do, and we still go kind of do our thing. It doesn't get involved. It doesn't, cross that line into any,
into shady areas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's just all, it's just all good and bad. It's all good and bad business. All's fair in war, and some of it works, some of it doesn't. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I still, conduct in every transaction, knowing that what I think about Columbus, that everybody knows everybody. And that, one little thing, it may come back around. So I always kind of have that in the back of my mind and try to, do right by somebody. And it'll pay you feel more positively more than it will affect you negatively.
Right. Now, before what a lot of people don't realize is, I mean, you're a real estate agent now, but actually you didn't get into real estate by first becoming a real estate agent. You were actually an investor.
Right.
We were working together, we were buying property, and we were renting them out, and we were working with investors that are both in this city and outside of the city.
Right.
And one of the things that is always brought up when you become a real estate agent is the rules and the ethics and all that. But won't you share with our audience your views on all that? I mean, because you do have to be held to a higher standard.
You do. I mean, in real estate transactions, I mean, one of the mandatory classes that I had to go through, as every agent, as far as I know, did, is you go to the local board and you go through a code of ethics class.
Right.
And they talk about, obviously, there's a code of ethics, and if you're an agent of ways of being and dealing with buyers and sellers in certain transactions. And you're right. If you're buying or selling your house to a real estate agent, you are expected to be held to a higher standard. Yeah.
And one of the things that I wanted to do is I would never claim to be the best businessman. I mean, I do what I can. I mean, I do take calculated risks. I won't, I'll admit to that. But I feel I really try to do right by people, but I also stand my ground. I'm not going to put up with it. And when people do well, I say they do well. Right. And if people don't do so well, I tell them they're not doing so well.
Right.
And but one of the things that I have tried to do in keeping things on the up and up is being transparent. What I mean by transparent is that I always share reports with you. Yeah. I have Martha looking at it. I mean, I'm always looking for somebody to double check our work. You double check my work, I double check your work, Martha double checks our work, we double check her work. Yeah. And I think the checks and balances is very important.
It is, yeah. We have that even, we share, a bookkeeper. We have 2 separate offices with 2 separate, expense reports and everything. And so, yeah, everything goes through a big system. I mean, so if something doesn't add up, I mean, it gets kicked out.
Exactly. Sure. And I think that makes us as a stronger whole when we work that way. Now, in Janice's case, I don't think there were checks and balances.
No, it was all.
It was her way.
It appears to be everything convoluted. I mean, it was all just.
It was terrible.
Pulled in. Yeah.
It was, and in retrospect, I think some of the people she brought on board were some of the people she should have never brought on board. You know, I tend to believe that like people attract similar people attract other similar people.
Right.
In other words, if you tend to be more bold and riskier, you're much of a risk taker.
Right.
You like to do big things. You're going to attract that type.
You're going to be surrounded by those types.
Exactly. And if you're kind of timid, you're going to want to be with other timid and don't want to make waves. And and I found this whole incident to be very true. It's the people who are more outspoken, we've all kind of pulled together.
Right.
Kennan and Parker. I mean, they've been a proponent. Dr. Broadwin, he does plenty of commercials.
Yeah.
But it would be consistent with his personality and what because he's out there.
Right.
He's not going to put up with it. He has a public image, and he appears to want to take accountability for his part.
Right.
And you know him because you're his patient.
Yeah. I've been a customer. Yeah, I've been a client.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of interesting how some of us have pulled together, and it's given us a reason to talk more. Actually, I mean, otherwise we'd be doing our own thing. So I've got some new friendships out of this.
Right. There's definitely been a little community that have kind of come together from this.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I haven't talked to the police so much, and the TV people. And it's been, I have to tell you, I mean, it's been very stressful.
Right.
But it's been kind of nice because it's like it's gone beyond each of our companies.
Right.
I mean, it's like citywide now.
Yeah.
And it's pulled the community together.
Well, at least when everybody is at least dealing with each other, those are positive relationships that people can kind of branch on through. The only really negative ones really is when it goes straight to Cobra, or you know what I mean. But yeah, as far as talking with Kennan and Parker, Broadwin, and at least those are I don't feel like you're coming together in negative circumstances because everybody's kind of in the same boat.
Right. I think that's the positive thing. If there's anything positive, if I had to turn back the clock, I wish this never happened.
Sure.
Obviously. I mean, it's just real unfortunate. But at some point, everybody has to move past this, and we have to look at the positive side. And I'm thinking, at least for me, I learned a lot about Columbus and a whole bunch of people.
Right.
Another thing I learned was who was willing to step up. But another thing I learned was how to be more involved with other people. I mean, I've gotten a lot more friends out of this.
Right, yeah.
Probably picked up a few enemies along the way that I don't know about. But I mean, it's been really kind of nice. I have to say, it's been nice. And what do you see as the positive side on this? And nothing about the negativity.
Well, I mean, I think the positive side is still, I still like Columbus. I mean, even though, like I said, we do travel out, when we come back, I mean, I know a lot of people go out and they come back and say, oh, well, I hate Columbus, or I don't like being here. But I honestly, I've never felt that way. And, I do like the fact that Columbus, yes, there are some people on this list, including myself, who kind of, who fell for it. But at the same time, Columbus is the type that I say, you know what, you're not going to get me twice.
Exactly.
And
that's true.
And that's one thing that I've kind of learned is that I think some of the people that I know on this list, even if it's another collection agency, Columbus is a type that they may not, raise up an arms and make a big hoopla and a big fuss and splash the water, but they're going to say, you know what, that's not happening to me again.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.